Good morning, brothers and sisters.
Good morning. Morning, Tom.
Thank you for that kind introduction. I am always proud to be with my sisters and brothers in our great trade union movement. I want to welcome you to my hometown of Boston. We are a city that is known for revolution, for freedom and strength. Boston strong. In Boston, every kid dreamed of growing up to be a cop, a firefighter, a carpenter, or a crook. Some kids did more than one. It's also a city of parks and parishes. While G.P. Kelly and I hung out in different parks, we were brought up with and share the same values and loyalties to faith, family, freedom, and country. We are a strong, hard-working city where people in all trades are proud to carry their union card. Our politicians in Boston know how to use the word union. They know how to support unions, and most importantly, respect unions, their members, and their issues that draw us all together. A fair day's wage for a fair day's work, workplace safety, retirement and health benefits, job security, the right to organize, to bargain, and live under the security of a union contract. Boston has a rich labor history, and Boston Local 718 has played a major role. Boston has produced 4 principal IAFF offices in its storied history. John Kabakis and Marty Pierce were GSTs. Marty, by the way, was the one who played the Boston card with Speaker Tip O'Neill to pass your original line of duty death PSOB bill back in the 70s. Howie McLennan was the GP throughout the 70s. Incidentally, here's a little bit of Boston fire history. Howie's first fire was the tragic Coconut Grove fire that killed 493 people in 1942, which led to many new laws on fire prevention and safety going on the books. But that is definitely a tough way to start a career. Thank you. G.P. Kelly, or as I call him, and many of you call him, Edzo, asked me to say a few words about my union, the United Brotherhood of Carpenters. I hope that you will see that both the IAFF and the UBC share the one fundamental goal of representing our dues-paying members. There are many similarities in our priorities, our issues, our challenges, our opportunities, and even our strategies and tactics on how to grow our union and succeed in delivering the goods for our members, whether at a bargaining table or politically. In fact, I'm even certain that we share some of our own members with each other. I have no doubt that some of our carpenters are squirreling away at some volley firehouse doing a half-assed job. And some of your guys are hammering nails in crooked on the side. All kidding aside, lucky is the person who holds an IAF card and a UBC card at the same time. That's like hitting the daily double. But I do want to acknowledge your General Secretary Treasurer, who was one of our apprentices in LA Local 1506 before becoming a fighter. Great to see you, Frankie. In 1881, 36 carpenters got together in a warehouse in Chicago under the leadership of Peter J. McGuire to form the United Brotherhood of Carpenters and Joiners of America. Today, the UBC represents almost 500,000 members in the United States and Canada. The UBC is celebrating our 143rd anniversary. We think of our union in two distinct eras. The first was from 1881 until 1995. And the second era was from 1995 to the present day. In 1995, we elected a young, dynamic, and transformational leader as our General President, Doug McCarran. President McCarran's first act as General President was to evaluate each expenditure to see if it met one absolute criteria. Did that expenditure directly benefit a UBC member? If it did not, it was eliminated. If it did, we sought to find a way to make it even more relevant, productive, and meaningful to our members. We transformed the UBC from a union in decline to one of power and strength. Sound familiar? Believe me, it was not easy. Many of our officers, including Doug McCarran, received death threats and required 24/7 protection. But we knew what we had to do for the UBC to survive and be competitive in a modern economy. We consolidated and reorganized. In 1995, we had 66 regional councils in the US and Canada. Today, we have 18. Back then, we had 846 locals. Today, we have 363. By consolidating, we saved hundreds of millions of dollars, and more importantly, we increased the power of each local union. We also consolidated our health and welfare, pension and trust funds, saving an additional $50 million each year for the past 20 years. Our founding president, Peter J. McGuire, believed in an 8-hour workday, in safety benefits, in dealing with management under the banner of a trade union with full collective bargaining rights. The IAFF was founded on many of these same principles. Your first fight was reducing the archaic work schedule of firefighters who were on continuous duty. You fought for a 2-platoon system and a paltry 96-hour work week. Today, Boston has a 4-shift system with a 42-hour work week. That's progress. But your federal firefighters still work 72 hours per week, 24 on and 24 off. And that's crazy. Each trade, public and private, has its pluses and minuses. In the building trades, you get paid when you work. You have no paid holidays, you have no sick leave, and you have no vacation time. When you work, you earn. In the public sector, the salaries might be a little less, and your rights aren't protected by federal law, but you have greater job security and richer fringe benefits. The UBC has over 100 funds with combined assets of over $85 billion that we largely control. For your leadership, it's more of a challenge because every state has a different set of laws. Some states or cities have very mature labor standards and laws, and many do not. These apply to pensions and even basic rights like collective bargaining. So let's get to our core mission. Both of our unions want to protect members, provide fair salaries and benefits. For us, it's straightforward. We exercise our legal rights and we bargain. For firefighters, have a much more complicated route to travel. In states that have collective bargaining and arbitration laws, wonderful, strong work. Remember, if you don't have interest arbitration, even if you have a structured negotiation process, it is collective begging. And for jurisdictions that have no protections, your members still need a fair salary, benefits, and working conditions. Correct?
Correct.
Oh, yeah. And in the private sector, we have a legal right to strike. For your union, more than any other, politics is your strongest weapon, especially at the state and local levels of government. When Eddie Kelly took over Local 718, he had huge problems with the mayor and the fire department. The local went without a contract for years, and the mayor made huge cuts to the fire department. But Edzo never backed down. There were some very tough years. In my mind, that's the period where now General President Kelly made his bones. Standing up to a very powerful, big city, Boston mayor was not easy. Then, my and Ed's old friend, Marty Walsh, became mayor with the early support of the Boston firefighters and from the Carpenters, and the tide changed. Local 17 came out on top, as did the rest of the labor movement in Boston. I guess it's appropriate to quote Edzo here. Hug 'em or headlock 'em, whatever it takes to win. Politics works, but it's like the lottery. You have to play to win. This is especially true in local and state races. When your locals endorse somebody for mayor, you care about one thing. What is that candidate going to do for your wallet, your family's health care, your pension, and being able to come home safely and not dying from a disease you got because your gear is laden with cancer-causing PFAS? Remember this one lesson. As a citizen, you can vote for whoever you choose, but your union needs to make its decision on how a politician votes on union issues. Period. End of the story. Now, I am proud to say that in national politics, the IAFF and the UBC are among the most bipartisan unions. I know that might come to us as a shock to people in this room. In fact, Edzo and I both received awards last year from the Republican Main Street Partnership, a group of about 90 Republican Senate and House members, for our efforts at working with Republicans. Not bad for two kids from Dorchester. Now, Dorchester is the best and most Irish neighborhood in Boston. Besides me and Edzo, the longest-serving vice president in IAFF history was also from Dot. And I know that today, Michael Mullane is smiling down on this convention in his hometown, and his 718 and Dot brother, Eddie Kelly, getting reelected as IAFF General President. We all miss you, Mickey. Rest well, my friend. We have it from here. Today, unions must go beyond the basics of organizing, bargaining, politicking, and conducting various support functions. To be successful, a union needs to engage, to educate, and mobilize its membership. The member needs to have some feeling of ownership. Educational and training play vital roles in connecting with your members. Like other building trades, the Carpenters have an apprenticeship program. That program teaches the basics and provides a path to becoming a journeyman carpenter. We have over 200 training centers nationwide, and I know that your union is working with the federal government to structure an apprenticeship program and another for returning veterans to transition to careers in the fire service. As firefighters struggle with privatization and volunteers, we struggle with rat contractors. In DC, to be polite, I would say non-union. But I think in Boston, rat works. So our president, Doug McCarran, recognized a long time ago that we need to train our carpenters to be more than just tradespeople. They needed to think like business leaders. We developed curriculum in leadership, in entrepreneurialism, in activism, in personal management skills so that our members are more marketable. They are also taught that the success of our contractors and partners is their success. If the company succeeds, the UBC member succeeds. The UBC invests more than $200 million a year in our education and training. We have over 3,500 full and part-time staff handling our hundreds of programs and courses. One of the programs that we are most proud of is the work that we do at the UBC's International Training Facility in Las Vegas, Nevada. That facility covers 1.2 million square feet of space, including 150,000 square feet of shop space. The center trains members in both field applications that are part of their workday and the leadership track that I described. Some of you may have had the opportunity to visit that center, and I hope more of you can do so in the future. It is a great source of pride for the UBC. The IAFF's training and education focuses on the same principles. You offer programs to build leadership skills and help members further their careers. You train them to be good, solid union leaders and advocates. Peer training and train-the-trainer programs provide trained instructor locals geographically among your 16 districts. Between your outstanding Affiliate Leadership Training Summit, otherwise known as ALTS, targeted training such as the Political and Communications Academy, delivering ALTS curriculum on a district-wide basis, and assisting with state and local training programs. You are bringing the IAFF to the members. The UBC and IAFF both recognize that we need to make our members aware and competitive to survive and thrive in today's economy. One major initiative we undertook was stopping the ever-increasing cost of our prescription drug program. We created Level Care, our own UBC-owned PBM. As a result of our innovation with Level Care, we have saved our 31 trust funds in the United States over $2.6 billion over the past 17 years. The IAFF Healthcare Challenge is providing early retiree coverage. Your folks retire early, and they need health care. The work that is being done with the Medical Expense Reimbursement Plan and the IAFF's Health and Welfare Trust are efforts to find a solution to a major internal need similar to our Level Care initiative. The partnership that the IAF has with Nationwide on 457 investment programs is both providing a valuable retirement planning tool and a vehicle for your members and a source of non-per capita revenue for the union. We partnered with Express Groups to create a money-saving efficiency, and the IAFF partnered with Nationwide on a money-generating benefit for your members. Rooting out waste and finding internal efficiencies are vital to any union. I know that Edzo and Frank inherited some challenges, financially and structurally. But I want to applaud Edzo, Frank, and your entire board for tackling very difficult issues. It could not have been an easy task. I'm sure that they will continue to think out of the box and look for opportunities to save or generate income and provide even more services to IAFF members. Remember, the IAFF isn't just the union, it's your union. Be part of it, making it better and stronger, and train your rank and file to do the same. If you do ever get a chance to visit the training center that I previously referenced, everyone wears a name badge, much like your delegate credentials here. Most people will have a tag that says owner, along with the name and the course that they are attending. And you might ask why. Because one ballsy student asked General President McCarran why his badge said visitor. Then he said, I'm a dues-paying member. I own part of this. President McCarran said, you are absolutely right. And to this day, every UBC member who comes to our facility has a badge that says owner. That means something. And by the way, for those who might be staying at the Omni Hotel this weekend, I want to say thank you. Thank you on behalf of the North Atlantic States Carpenters Pension Fund, who is the largest investor in the Omni Hotel. That's one of our investments, and we appreciate you staying there. And no, I don't get a carpenter discount, so the more the better. Thank you so much. The union is bigger than any of us. As President Lincoln said, in a different time and in different contexts, we must preserve the union. Firefighters and carpenters are very similar. We are hardworking, patriotic, family-oriented men and women who want and demand, thanks to their union, a fair shake. Like me and Edzo, we may have hung in different parks, but our values are the same. I could care less about someone's religion, race, or political party. We all pay union dues. UBC, IAFF, bricklayers, and NAGE. Labor unions look out for your interest in the workplace. That's our job and what you pay us to do. No politician or political race is more important than the solidarity of your union. So I'm going to conclude with a little bit of Boston history that's not in many books. This is Boston Fire Department in Irish history. It's a great story. Boston was a very stodgy Puritan town back in the 19th century. Irish Catholics were not very welcome. Signs adored most workplaces that said, "No Irish need apply." Well, that also applied to the Irish joining the various volunteer fire departments that covered the city. On July 11, 1837, a group of Yankee volunteer firemen encountered a group of native Irish returning from a funeral. And we all know what that's like. Words were not exchanged, or words were exchanged, and a nasty riot ensued that involved over 800 combatants, which has become known as the Broad Street Riot. So I have concluded that the Broad Street Riot is precisely when the Irish first discovered there was a fire service in Boston. So when the waves of Irish immigrants came to Boston in the 1840s, instead of fighting the fire department, they decided to join it. And a slew of Irish fire commissioners and leaders of Local 718 over the years, and they still do. Good on you, Edzo. It's been an honor to be with you today. President Kelly, thank you for the invitation. Brothers and sisters, take pride in belonging to a great labor union. Be safe, stay union, and always, always, always be IAFF strong. Thank you.
Great job, Tom. That was